such a wonderful welcoming. I really appreciate the introduction. It's incredibly humbling. It's like insanely humbling to be up here at the end of such a monumental day. A day that the whole day I've been just thinking the same thought, which is like, I'm gonna remember this day. This is one of those days. We have investors, ever had like investors who are like part of the tech boom back in the 70s, and it's like they were all like in their 20s and 30s, in the 70s, talking about the future of the microchip or something. And it's like, that's how it feels like to me in this room, that like we are in the presence of greatness and brilliance. It's a testament to everybody who put this together. It's a testament to Gabe and Steve and Jenny and everyone else on the team that put together the summit. And it's a testament to all the brilliant people that spoke before throughout the day. It's incredible. It's a testament to an incredible city that has been in the forefront, and an incredible state with Los Angeles now really coming forward in such a huge way. And it's amazing to be here. So thank you guys. I'm Vince Kadlubek. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a group called Meow. We're in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Meow is a 200-person now business. We have 200 people full-time, salaried. Most of them, about 125 of them, are artists and creatives. That's why we do it. And I'll get more into kind of like our past later on in the presentation. But really, I know this is sort of talking about Meow Wolf, but I think it's also, I'm more interested in talking about what this moment is and who we are all together potentially. So I'm gonna, let's see, how do I skip slides in this? Eek, got it. So I want you to get into your experience tube with me. This is our experience tube. This is a product that we launched recently, so that people could focus and get into the same space together. So I did have a picture of like a guy smoking out of like the largest bong ever made instead of this one, and I thought that this one was better. So, to represent going down the rabbit hole of this presentation. So the presentation, my presentation is called Subverting Reality, because the one we are in is predictable and repetitive and is limiting to the human experience and causes people to feel trapped because they are systemically unjust. And we forget that all the prescribed rules are still just a bunch of fabrications anyway. Plus, the idea of completely subverting all of reality is an exciting prospect for no other reason than it will be really fun and we can put new value on new things. Plus, climate change. The people aren't systemically unjust. The systems and the rules are systemically unjust. So when I say subvert reality, we first have to talk about what is reality, and there's what is the nature of reality. And I'm going to try to make a distinction here. I'm not very smart. I mean, I didn't go to college. I don't know like who said what. I can't quote like who said things. So bear with me. But I'm not talking about, when I talk about the nature of reality, I'm not talking about what I think is like nature, like the universe, the stars, matter, particles, and physics and stuff. Though I do think that we probably all wish, and maybe someday will, be able to actually subvert like that reality too. That's not the one that I'm thinking about right now, because there are like rocks and huge waterfalls and lakes and things that will probably always exist, even if humans don't. Thank God. And they're beautiful, and they're probably the most incredible, immersively designed things that many of us have ever experienced, so thank God. I'm talking more about the type of reality than what I would call, I guess, the sub-nature of reality, which is a system of rules and a system of social contracts and agreements that we've all made to collectively experience the nature of reality, the natural reality. And this is the one that I think that we are actually, and it's like almost mind-blowing to think that this is possible, but that we are actually on the brink of being able to subvert entirely. And we need to, because, like I said, the rules of this sub-nature of reality are systemically unjust and they don't work. They're not working as well as they could, and there's no way out unless we subvert it somehow. There's rules like this. This is a social contract that somebody wrote up at some point, and for some reason a lot of people agreed to this social contract. And those streets are pretty empty most of the time. This is another social contract. I know this one pretty well. A lot of commentary on this one. And we did the industrial thing and then digital and technology thing, and it's all been for the sake of $1, which is good. It's been good in some ways. It's motivated people. It's motivated expansion and growth, and it's motivated evolution, and has gotten us all to a point that we can be in this room with a lot of really great technology and people playing with those technologies. But ultimately, and we see we're at the end of what that dollar is good for, and that dollar has mainly been good for buying stuff, things, just a lot of things, a lot of products. And everyone talks about the experience economy as the evolution beyond the service economy. It's I'm not very good at it. I can't remember who it was, right? The experience economy people. If somebody knows it, yell it out. But
Pine and Gilmore.
Thank you, Pine and Gilmore. I told you. But we're at the end of the product economy. People don't care about buying stuff. They do, but they're much more interested in experiences. And we tested this idea, we tested this thought at Meow, and we were really hoping that it was true, and it is. And people definitely don't go out and buy stuff. That's decreasing even more. I'm going to talk about the internet here because the internet's the single biggest, most important thing that has happened that I think we're still adjusting to. All of these social contracts that I talk about of the subnatural reality are social contracts that happened before the internet happened, most of them. And we're just now, 20 years, 30 years after, starting to come up with some new social contracts that are post-internet, or that the internet is a component of those social contracts. And this is where I think things are really interesting, because without the internet, there's this guy, I'm convinced this is the very first Reddit post. Without the internet, things are they're limited by physical borders. They're limited by space, and even stages. This stage is largely because there's no internet, right? So we build spaces for people to be in. So much of our subnatural infrastructure is based on the lack of internet. So I think it's really exciting to be able to, it's not based on lack of internet, but this came before the internet. The internet also is a good metaphor, because if somebody had told you in 1985 there's this thing, internet, everybody would roll their eyes. It's what do you mean there's this thing, this internet? Or even in 1999 or 2002, we'd be oh, people are going to buy stuff on the internet, and then we'd go on a website and try to buy something, and it's we'd crash before we could check out. We'd be no, this is never going to happen. We're not going to buy stuff on the internet. And then 20 years later, that's all we do. And I think it's a good metaphor for where we are in the moment of immersive design. I think everybody says this 3D printing, and there's a lot of different AR, VR. It's always well, yeah, it's just the same as when the internet started. And it is. I think it is. I think 20 years from now, we could probably look back at this moment and say that. Hello. And we can look back at this moment and say oh yeah, that was the beginning. That was kind of the dawn of a new era. Another interesting thing about the internet is that it's this. At one point, it was a factor of the subnatural reality. It was a small component of the subnatural reality, and it's quickly becoming the context that wraps around the subnatural reality. And this is another thing that I think is really interesting. All of us are in the space of immersive design, and we do things that are still just components of the subnatural reality, but I think that we all together, especially work together, can construct the context around it, which I'll get to also in a second. Also, we're just making a lot of really beautiful connections because of the internet, like these here. Cannot be done without it. I remember the first time that I got like my hand on a mouse. It was like 86 or something, and the mouse gave me like control. It gave me the ability to like do like I got to choose what I wanted to do with that mouse. It gave me like there's an amount of like, and now people surf all the time, and the internet gives us this world that is ours to discover, whereas like the world out there, for some reason, it doesn't feel that discoverable anymore. So people are obsessed with the internet. I contemplated whether I should put this one up or not, but it's so right on. And when I see images like this, a lot of people get really pissed. They're like, people like staring at their phones. And it's like, well, guess what? Like that world in there is kind of more interesting, and I get more data from it. I get more information. I get more connections, and like everything that's happening out here is pre-internet sub-natural reality, and it's predictable and it's boring, and the rules that exist out here are mostly like a pile of bullshit. And so I'd rather like be in here. And so to me, like this shows opportunity. This shows that there's like massive amounts of people, basically everybody in the world, that want their sub-natural reality to be subverted. They want to be in a different world than the one that they're in. And that's where like all of us should think about these people as potential customers. Like these are potential customers, these are potential people who are gonna like love what we're designing and bringing to them. And that's what we found with Meow. I'll go through like our history. We started off, as Gabe said, as a like DIY artist collective, Santa Fe, New Mexico, 2008. I don't need a microphone actually. So we started off 2008 as a DIY art collective, and we just wanted to express ourselves. Like that's all it was. Like the world wasn't what we wanted. What we wanted. There was no room for us to like show our work. There was like galleries wouldn't accept the type of things that we were doing. We couldn't throw an event anywhere really in our town. The under 21 like all ages under 21 DIY nonprofit was for people who were under 21. We were now 25 and 26 and 27, so we felt like we didn't belong there anymore. We didn't. So we said, we're just going to start our own thing. So we started Meow Wolf. All of us basically worked restaurant jobs and served food for a living. Looked a lot like a lot of places that you are probably familiar with. Christmas lights and a lot of like spray painting and whatever, and like makeshift walls and bands playing on really shitty PAs and like, hands of whatever, Tecate. And we pulled our materials out of dumpsters. It's like very much how we were able to create the types of things that we would create inside of our warehouse space. Salvation Army dumpster was like especially nice because it had a lot of really beautiful soft things, and there wasn't any food in there. And so the Salvation Army would let us go and just like dumpster dives to be able to build stuff. And ultimately we were building forts. Like that's what we kind of realized. Which is also interesting because we're creating a new sub-natural reality with like its own architectures and its own like social contracts that didn't exist out there, and people got to walk in and experience these, and even though they're like really made out like paper mache, basically chicken wire, and they're probably dangerous, and there's probably nails sticking out everywhere. The place smells bad because there's like mice pooping in it all the time. Truthfully, but people loved it. Like they couldn't get enough of these big little worlds that we were creating. So we got an opportunity finally in Santa Fe to create a project inside of a real project space. And this is called the Do Return. It was a large ship. And so we didn't have any architectural knowledge on our team. We just at this point probably about 100 people worked on this project, and nobody got paid. About $50,000, and we just scraped. We nearly
we did kind of destroy our lives over the course of that year in order to get this shit built. But this day was like kind of clued us. This really clued us into how much. This was 2011. How much people like desperately needed the escape. We saw in 3 months, we saw 25,000 visitors come through the door. This one moment where this mother came up to me and she said, she thanked me and thanked all of us that were there at the front desk, and she said, this is the first thing that has pulled my son away from video games all summer long. And that's when I, like, the businessman inside of me, which I didn't know I was at this point, but the businessman inside of me, I was like, oh my God. Like, we're like, you know, we're more important than video games to like a 10-year-old. There's value there. There has to be. So fast forward a few years, I was literally writing down business plans on the back of napkins, and I ended up getting employed by George R.R. Martin. So this is kind of where the story takes one of those turns where, like, I wonder if maybe I'm actually dead right now, and then this moment's like right after I die. But I keep telling the same story and giving the same, like, similar presentations, and time continues to, like, sort of stack on itself in a consistent way. So I think I'm still alive. But met George. He hired me to be his marketing guy at a small little theater he owns in Santa Fe. And he fired me about 3 months later. And I ended up coming back to him and saying, hey, we have this business plan and we have this building. Would you be into buying this, like, old bowling alley? And he said, sure. Yeah, he's like, and he insisted on us keeping this, like, bowling pin sign, this, like, 20-foot tall bowling pin sign. And I swear, like, he walked through the parking lot, and he wasn't even looking at the building, he was looking at the bowling pin sign. And he's like, if I buy the building, will you keep the sign? And I was like, totally, man. So that we keep it. But about a year and a half after he bought that building, we ended up opening Meow. It's our first permanent location. It was the first time we ever employed anybody. It was the first time we raised any money. It was the first time that we paid taxes. We were like an actual entity at this point, which was crazy. We brought on about 150 people to do this project. This project is called the House of Eternal Return. So this is the thing that's open now in Santa Fe that has really completely changed my life. It's the reason why I haven't shaved in a while. It's the reason I'm really tired. It's also the reason why, like, I'm just blown away by reality. And I feel like, you know, this story gives us a really good, like, a really amazing opportunity for anyone else, because, like, this is insanely improbable. This, like, should not have happened. This is a total anomaly of kind of like random creation, and we're riding some sort of wave that I just, like, want to keep riding it, and I'm hoping that as many people want to ride that as possible, because if, like, this could happen for the kind of group that we were, you know, I think that anything else we think might not be possible is. So we created a Victorian house called the House of Eternal Return that people walk into. Basically, the moment they open the door, they have total control of their experience. We don't care about, like, how long they spend. There's no given time that they have to show up. It's open from 10 a.m. till midnight. It just is a constant flow of people through the space. We do about 350 people per hour. The space can hold about 700 people, and it's about a 2-hour. Most people spend about 2 hours in it, so it's like kind of a constant flow of 350 people per hour. You go into the house, and that's like the house, fictional house of a family. The family has been part of a cosmic war of consciousness since the beginning of time, and finally that war has sort of, like, come to a head, and time and space is busted open inside of their house, and these wormholes have opened up into other dimensions. So then, like, as a customer, you discover these wormholes, and then you end up going into the world that we created, which is really where, like, a lot of the fun happens, where we're doing tree houses and building, like, a bunch of different subspaces within there. It's a 30,000 square foot space, about 20,000 of that is the exhibition itself. We've added some actors to it, and some characters a couple times. It's unfortunately, like, a little bit too tight of space to really do anything like really big theatrically, but we definitely want to. Like that's definitely in our DNA to do so. It was incredibly successful. So Santa Fe is a town of about 70,000 people. And in our first year, we saw 400,000 visitors. In our second year, we've seen 500,000 visitors. And it's the #1 attraction in New Mexico. And we have like amazing caverns. When we opened, like about 2 weeks after we opened, when we realized like how popular this was going to be, one of my roommate at the time said, he was like, "Fuck yeah, art." You know? Like, who would've thought, you know? We don't have any IP. There's no IP in here that people recognize. There's no like whatever Bugs Bunny or Star Wars, whatever. Like this is all we got, and it's just art. And there's lines at the door quite a bit. It's kids, and it's older people, and it's all socioeconomic backgrounds. It's all ethnicities, and it's an opportunity for sort of everybody to be in a space together at the same time. And this was kind of the gamble we made. We said, no, like the general population wants to experience this. They want to get weird. They want to be taken out of their world, out of their reality. And you know, because for so many people, the reality sucks. You know, like, and they don't have a safe place to be invited into a different type of subnatural reality. And so that was the gamble we made, and people love it. You know, it's been an incredible experience. We made about $8 million in our first 12 months. And now we're sitting in this reality of like, and so revenue was $8 million. We profited for that. So 50% net profits. We're sitting with $4 million of net profits. And so we have reinvested that into our creative team. We hire people on salary, full benefits, pay for education, for college classes. We want to end, at least for the people in Santa Fe, we want to do this for as many people as possible, of course, but the team in Santa Fe that made this success happen, it's like, let's get rid of the gig economy mentality. Like we don't have to get fired every time a project opens. We can keep a year-round team. We also a really significant thing for us is like we're a B corporation, and we have to remember that even when we're successful with like this dollar, like I said, like the systems reflect, you know, like the systems of this subnatural reality that we created are unjust and reflect, and we need to be able to give the dollar back in a way that's going to be effective. So we've donated about $500,000 in the past 12 months to various nonprofits and to DIY art spaces, especially because. We also found, something that said like, wow, why did this art experience work? So most art, like people find boring, and I think it's pretty simple. It's like people understand immersive spaces. Kids understand immersive spaces. Like when you're born into an immersive space. And it's like something that we're like experts on. We're experts on immersive spaces. Walking up to a painting is a really esoteric experience. Like you need to have a lot of education, and it takes like a lot of work to know what do I do with this like square on a wall. What do I do with it? Like I don't know what to do with it. And it takes time to actually learn how to interact with something like this. But for most people, like 90% of the population that don't walk into spaces like this, they still love art. They still love creativity. They still love getting weird. But it's the context that is especially important. Also, I think another reason why we're successful is because nobody has come up with a new out-of-home like weekend experience since like the 1980s. This is still what people do, or that's still what people do. We got people bowling boys, but or like I haven't seen anybody this happy in a movie. Or this is also what people do going to the theater, and I think like breaking. So it's all about the stage, So what is the stage? And I think we're still even playing with what is the stage. Like we know this is not the stage. This doesn't have to be the stage. We all know that there's much more opportunity for stages. But even in the little town hall that we did, like everyone's thinking, like, how do we get the stage all the time? How do we create the stage all the time? So this is kind of like the diagram that I created. So this is like that nature reality. And then like this is the sub-nature of reality that I'm talking about. That's like the streets and the buildings and the like, I have to go to court because I, whatever, didn't pay whatever. And then this is like the alt natures of reality. That's us. And like, let's say that one's like, okay, that one's no more. And then you have Disneyland. Remember that activation you did for Panasonic at South by Southwest? That's that one. All of these like little alt natures of realities that exist within the context of the sub-nature of reality. And then the question, I guess, would be like, can we go to that? That would be the question. You know, do we have the infrastructure? Do we have the ability? Do we have like communication skills? Do we have like the willingness to work together and cooperate to do that? Because if we do that, then we get to have a new system of those sub-natural laws and sub-natural economies, which right now, like the laws of economy here, not working, you know? So that's like, here's some of the players in space. This is like probably a controversial slide because there's probably a lot of logos on here that you're tired of seeing, especially in San Francisco. But this is just to, I did put us in the middle. Even if like there are all of these heavy dollar bill infrastructures being built, we as the artists and the creators are at the center of it. Like these don't do anything without us being able to wrap around them and utilize them as tools. I think that I use the Bitcoin, but you know, obviously, like whatever currency, I think there's opportunity to value creativity. So, industrial technology. What's after that? You know, how are we using that technology? Who is going to be utilizing it? Who is needed? And it's artists. You know, it's artists. Like the technology is not interesting if there aren't awesome designers and artists and creators behind it. So that's the question. I had this screen, which is no screen at all, to kind of like walk people through like a couple examples of how this could work. We're probably having to use some form of like iPhone or something, some form of technology to do this, but I'm in a grocery store and I get notified that there's a bagger who's getting probably paid about $15 an hour to bag groceries, but they have like 700 5-star ratings on our system. So I'm going to go and check him out. So I go in the line, check him out. I like flick a little bit of my creative coin at him. He catches the creative coin, sees that I'm also part of that network, starts juggling my apples. Whole Foods has no system of value that values that bagger's skills to juggle apples. How many people do we know that are waiters or bussers or cooks, line cooks, who have, like, that's not their value. That's not the most amazing, valuable thing that they have. There's something else that they do, sing or dance or talk or draw, that is so much more valuable than like what this system allows for them to produce. So I have basically a minute left. We're moving to Denver. It's going to be a really big ass building. It's like 90,000 square feet. So we make $4 million in profit a year in Santa Fe. We're projecting to make $30 million a year in profits. And this is where like I just think that things can get really interesting and fun. We are dedicated. We are dedicated. We're committed. We are seriously dedicated and committed to this crew here, to people who are in alternative arts and music spaces around the country, around the world, to people who are underprivileged or are stuck in an unjust system, who have value and skills that probably blow away so many other people in the world. We're committed to that. I don't know how else to do to support or to shift unless it's through how we shift the where money goes. You know, and I think so that's like at the heart of what we're doing is we're gonna do this big conglomerate thing. We're gonna charge $30 at the door to get in. We're gonna have all these profits, but it's so that we can make social change. This is gonna happen at some point. We're not gonna think about that too much. I'm not sure what that all means, but I am also confident that with like everybody in this room and all the people that we have in the world that are in this same mindset in this space together, that like if we work collaboratively and we work together, that we're all capable of building a new world. So thank you guys.